Hi, and welcome to Auction Adventures. I'm Chris Dudley with Dudley's Auctions. We're here for another fun and exciting show. We're going to talk about things that we do on Auction Adventures. It could be bringing collectors in, showing their collections. It could be talking about the different kinds of auctions, whether it's storage wars or whether it's auctions on site or real estate auctions. But today we're going to work with Mr. Lon Fischbeck. Mr. Lon Fischbeck is joining us because we're working with him because of his friend. Right. His friend was Ricky Suarez, and Ricky Suarez was one of those people that we got to meet. In our business, we meet and become involved with people's lives after they've passed a lot of times, and we get to celebrate in the joys of what they left behind. And you were lucky enough with Ricky. Tell me a little bit about Ricky and how long have you known Ricky?
Since grade school.
Since grade school.
Grade school, we went together. Junior high school, and then forever after that.
And forever after that. Now, the reason that we're talking about Ricky Suarez is Ricky Suarez, I tell everybody when we were working with you and working with his items, is Ricky Suarez was a fireman by profession, but an autograph hound by obsession. And he started his autographing way, way back from when he was young. And I hear you tell 9 years old. Where was his first autograph search?
In Tampa University. The football team that played there, the last game they ever played, he got every chin strap that they had except for one.
Do you remember the name of the team?
The Spartans.
The Spartans from Tampa. Oh my gosh, that must have been
old down the fairgrounds, old Tampa, downtown Tampa.
Now how old? How old was he when he passed? He just recently passed.
Just recently passed. He was 60. I'm 62. He was 60.
He was 60 years old. So he collected a lot. Now, one of the things that he liked to collect was musical autographs, and he did everything. He did everything from musical to astronauts to politicians to actors, golfers. Golfers was a special obsession for him.
Yeah.
And I know that we've got some pictures of some of the things, but let's first talk about how you found us and what your situation was.
I had a lot of stuff that I didn't know what to do with.
Yeah, and you came with us and you brought with you
some of the guitars. And
this was the first one I saw when you brought up to me. Now this one, you want to show this one, there you go. It goes this way. This one's signed by B.B. King, right?
Right.
And this is, I know that we have an album that was signed by B.B. King as well, right here. If you want to look at this, it's got his signature on it. And you came in to the auction hall.
Dumbfounded because I didn't know how to market it. And y'all did all the marketing for me and did a fantastic job.
Well, I know that when you came in, you had just a few things, and I said, well, what do you have? And what you were lucky enough to have is that your friend loved you so much, he left you all of his treasures.
Everything.
And you were to the point where you said, geez.
Where am I going to store it all first?
And you have been storing it. You had it in how many different places?
Well, we had it in one building, and a hotel caught on fire next to it, so we moved it right away after that because they didn't want that to happen again. And he moved it into where it was not a lot of stuff around it, and we moved it from one because it got too large to be in a small one, so we went to a large one so he could sort of walk through and see everything. And I was in all the moves
so he had his stuff stored, and you were working with him back then, moving it from one storage unit to another.
Yeah, whenever he didn't like a lot of people to know where everything was.
Yeah.
Carrying it in, carrying it out.
Because he had, I know that I've looked at 10,000 pieces. I mean, he had everything from, and then one of the things that I like to show people is this is what he did. He had an index card file. He had 4 or 5 of these index card files, and in them he had a list of everybody he went to see or called or wrote to, because sometimes he would just write to them. Like here's Joan Collins and Michael Collins and Phil Collins, and everything is in alphabetical order. And it's just amazing because it says here, he said at Postcard Farm, where he had been, where he'd sent recent material. He had a photo that was returned from Phil Collins. I mean, this is his address, and Phil Collins' address in Sussex, England. I mean, he was so organized. It was amazing. And he was really involved with trying to find certain things.
Right.
And he had stories about how he went about. You've shared a couple of them.
Let's see, Johnny Cash's signature.
Yeah, we just sold recently.
He was at his mother-in-law's house, and he caught him there and had went on the front porch and had him sign right there. There's a picture.
Yeah, we've actually got several pictures of him, Mr. Dunn. If you look real close, this is Ricky Suarez right here. And this is a good one because this is Priscilla Presley. And he signs it to all my friends, but this one was to his firemen because he was a fireman and he would go over there and talk to them. But didn't he have a special one that she signed to him directly?
Yes.
And what did it say?
You
can put my fire out.
Yeah, anytime.
My goodness.
Yep.
And it's just really, it's been such an adventure, such a journey to wander through and look at all these and see all these different people that he's been with. Because he took photos.
Ball players, coaches, golfers, movie stars, actors, actresses.
Now, I know, I'm trying to find one that's right side up. I know that one of the ways that he tried to talk people into giving his photographs is that he would go to tournaments.
And and he would take pictures all the first day when everybody was just getting there and checking in, and he would take photos, and then the next day he would go to his room, he would develop everything and make large pictures of it and carry them around with him, and when he sees people talking, he'd put their pictures on top and walk by them, and they'd say, "Excuse me, where'd you get the pictures?" And he'd just tell them that he had taken them the day before, and
then they signed it.
They'd say, "Well, can I buy one?" And he'd say, "You can have all you want if you sign some." So they would sign.
There you go.
They would get pictures.
You know, it's just such an amazing adventure watching some of the things that have come through in the pieces that we looked at. I know we're going to talk about the Jimi Hendrix signatures, how we found that. We had a Masters sign, a couple of Masters jackets. Or do we have one jacket?
One jacket.
But we
flags,
had several flags. I know we've got some pictures of some of those. We're going to talk about those. We're also going to talk about some of the different things that we learned along the way about how to look at different signatures and how to determine whether or not one's a real signature, if it's a secretarial signature, if it's an auto pen. I mean, it's just been an incredible adventure, and that's one of the best parts about being in our business is it's like Christmas every single day. The things we find, the experiences we get to learn, the people we get to meet, and the treasures of the people who have lived incredible lives that we get to respectfully enjoy and share with others and find new homes for. So we'll be right back in just a couple of minutes. This is Chris Dudley with Dudley's Auctions. We're here at Auction Adventures. We'll be back with some more information. See you in just a minute. Hi and welcome back. I'm Chris Dudley with Dudley's Auctions, and we are here at Auction Adventures, and today we're working with Mr. Lon Fischbeck, and we are celebrating the life of Ricky Suarez and his obsession with his autographs. I mean, I tell you what, when we started going through all of these things and we saw the quantity of what we were having to do, we got on the phone and we started calling some specialists. And they came in and they helped us identify and sort. I had one fellow that comes out from Gainesville that's all he knew was sports. He came through, sorted through, pulled out the things that were better, which ones that might have been auto pens instead of, so that really helped us a bunch. We also work with trying to find the list of the different people who collect that sort of thing. Maybe it was sports shops or autograph stores or that sort of thing, and we let them all know, and then they came. One of the things that we'll talk about today is the cut cards. This is where when people send off and ask people to give them autographs, or didn't he carry?
He carried cards with him everywhere.
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 And then, you know, one of the things he did is wasn't he the fire inspector for venues?
He was a fire inspector, and he would inspect some of the buildings where they were going to have a concert or some kind of show, and they would actually carry cards with him, and when he run into the people, he'd give them the signed cards.
Yeah, and then they would just, I mean, he literally, we had
all kinds of ways.
We had tons of these things. I mean, we had folder after folder, binder after binder of all of these wonderful things. I mean, and it was just really such a joy to go through a lot of them. And because of the quantity, there was just no way. I mean, we've stretched this over almost 6 months now, right? We've been working together? Yeah. 6 month period where we actually, in order to catch some of the stores and do things for the stores that were getting ready to put their product out for Christmas, we did a bulk sale. We called it a bulk lot auction where we created boxes that had 8, 10, 12, sometimes 20 pieces in it. And it was a mix of all sorts of things, if it was football, or if it was golf, or if it was baseball, or if it, whatever it was.
The draw was a signature.
Yeah. I know that we've got some pictures of some of the different things that we're going to show you as we go through, and we'll kind of point out what it was we did with them. Here's the Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a signed piece. There are some other pieces that come through. There was all sorts of framed and autographed pieces. This was a little different now. We sold 3 or 4, what they call the guitars when they take them and they go back and forth. Like this one there was one, that's the one that has Johnny Cash's signature. See, all the way to the left, all the way to the bottom corner, there's Johnny Cash. This was the country western one.
Right, and so he did country. And he did some rock and roll.
Rock and roll and blues. He did rock and roll and blues. We had one that he did that was some of the Canadian. Oh, gosh. You know, it's so funny. We've seen so many of them. It's hard to keep track of all the fun stuff that we did. But those were really popular. Right. I know that when we came across the Jimi Hendrix signature, that was when he was how old? 14. And see, this is the Jimi Hendrix album that he had that was signed as well.
Hard to see the signature, but it's...
But I did just get word recently. Now, the person who bought this was also the same person who bought one of the Jimi Hendrix signatures, and he bought the ticket, because I know that we had piles and piles of things like his concert tickets, his sporting events tickets. I mean, these are special event tickets, and so we kind of matched some of those up. Some of them was impossible to do all of that. But the gentleman who bought the Jimi Hendrix.
That's the man I met, I think.
Yeah, that's the man, and we're going to actually have him on the show because that's what he does for a profession. He buys and sells autographs, signatures, all sorts of fun things.
He hasn't seen this one yet.
He hasn't. I know. He's dying for it. And what we had was Ricky had gone and got a piece of notebook paper from his binder from school. Yeah. And he had 2 signatures from Jimmy on there. Yep. We cut it in half.
2 different days.
2 different days. Now that's a new piece.
Yeah, because we went twice. He went once with his sister's co-worker, and he went once with me.
Yeah. I know that, and it's fun because I know sometimes when you guys start talking, there's some stories that come out, and that's one of the funnest parts of it. But we had taken that one piece of notebook paper, and we cut it in half. One we saved and sold at our auction, and we did it live and online, and the other one we sent to hunt auctions. Right. Now, hunt auctions up north, that's all they do is sell autographs. And we sent them probably, I don't know, 50 or 60 different pieces.
I've got the sheet.
And they sent us, it was a full color catalog, had all the information on it, and we were excited about that because they do theirs online, and so it was really nice to see what they were doing. And they had theirs verified, and we knew that it came from the same thing. And they put it in their catalog. They did it live and online.
We got more money down here.
Yeah, I know. I said that's so exciting because theirs sold for $1,450, and ours actually set a world record for a Jimi Hendrix signature, and the gentleman paid $1,900 for it. And then he came back and he bought that Jimi Hendrix album. We had that at a different auction, along with the, and he paid, what did I say on that? He paid $850 for the album, and he bought the ticket for $100. So, you know, we got $1,450, $1,800. Yeah. Then we had 14. So it added up to quite a bit. By the time you got done, between the album, the $850, the $1,900, the $100, those added up to a lot, just for the Jimi Hendrix, not counting the balance of them. So it worked out really well. So I was excited about having broken our record. Some of the other things that we're going to be looking at is coming up. We'll take a look at, and here's some of the baseball ones. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly who this is. I think there's a Mickey Mantle on that one. Miles. See, and that's just why we have experts come in. And and you keep going, look at some of those other pictures we've got. I think we had some baseballs. I know we had groups. Yeah. Oh, and that's Joe DiMaggio. Yeah. That one did really well. That was the ball and the thing. And then he had box after box after box of these baseballs that were all signed, and they could have been from minor players to major players, case after case of ball cards.
Baseball cards.
I mean, it was just an amazing amount of things. Oh, these are the helmets.
Yeah, many helmets.
Those were all signed by football players.
And there's the flags.
There you go.
Masters.
He had several of those flags signed by some major people in the golf business, and we sold those. And then
most of them were people that played in the Masters.
They played in the Masters. Well, that is just really cool. Well, we're going to look at some other things when we come back. We'll talk about auto pins. We'll talk about some of the other pieces that we've brought along with us, and just have some more fun talking about Ricky. So we'll see you in just a few minutes. Chris Dudley with Dudley's Auctions, Auction Adventures. Don't forget to stay tuned because we're going to have more fun. Hi, and welcome back. Chris Dudley, Dudley's Auctions. We're back at Auction Adventures. We're still here with Lon Fischbeck. We're talking about Ricky Suarez. During the break, we kind of looked at and talked about the B.B. King thing, and I don't know if you can see it, but this is a picture right here of Ricky reaching in with another guitar with B.B. King. I mean, it was just amazing. And this is Yogi Berra. And then who was this one down here?
Country singer.
So a country singer. There was lots of them, but it's just so fun.
We should have wrote names on all of them.
I know. And then here we go. We've got Dolly Parton. We've got this one right here that shows Dolly Parton, and then we've got some other albums. We've got Waylon Jennings here.
This is Waylon and
this is Waylon as well. Oh, this is one of the girls.
Yeah,
okay.
Waylon,
and then Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson.
Cyndi Lauper, one of my favorites back when, God, I remember Cyndi Lauper.
That's Willie.
More Willie Nelson.
And this is Loretta.
Oh, see, and those are really just interesting pieces. Now, this is just a small example of some of the things that we sold for you. I know that we had hundreds of albums, and still have hundreds of albums, but some of these are really special. I know that during the break you were talking about this B.B. King
This
guitar.
is my wife's favorite.
And she's not part. There's no way we're going to pull that out of her hands. Well, that's okay, because you should keep things that are special. And when we do estates, we always tell people you need to keep some memories of what was really important to you.
Well, we've got a bunch.
Well, yeah, that's good. So tell me another story. Tell me about your T-shirt.
Now, this is from the Twin Towers when they were bombed.
When the towers came down?
When they came down. They all went to New York,
You're talking about Ricky and all of his firemen from his house.
They went to all their parades, and they came down and walked our parades, and they had special shirts made with some of the fire trucks and some of the boys that passed away, shirts. And they brought some of the families down for Disney and paid for them to go to Disney and stay in the hotels or whatever. And then they would go up there and walk in their parade, and they'd come down and walk in our parade.
See, that's just another part of what Ricky,
and he gave me some of the special shirts.
See, and I mean, that's the kind of guy he was.
Yes.
I mean, we talk about stories of some of the people he met, and some of them that he really enjoyed. And didn't he have someone special that he used to see all the time whenever they'd come down in the area? We were talking about that one day at the auction hall. His father.
Santana,
that's it.
Santana group.
Yeah, because all these tickets here are all from Santana. I mean, he had special back.
All their phone numbers are in his cell phone at home.
Right. I mean, these are all special backstage passes that he had because he went to a lot of his shows. So he was personal friends with them. He got to be involved with a lot of these people over the years.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
A very lot of them.
So that's one of the things. Now, when we talked about auto pens, when he would take and send things off to these other celebrities, sometimes they would have things done with an auto pen, so it wasn't an actual signature. And that still has some collectible value, but it's not as valuable as if they are done by. Now, the other thing that we found is secretary signatures. A lot of times.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a new one. Secretary signatures. Fan club presidents, sometimes they would be the ones that would get all the fan club mails, and they would sign it and send it out. I know that when we were doing the astronauts, because we did some Neil Armstrong, we did some really wonderful astronaut pieces, and you have to be really careful. And there's actually a website on the internet that you can just Google up astronaut signatures, and it'll come up, and you can compare them. You can type in the astronaut, and then you can compare the signature that you have, and they'll have samples of auto pen, samples of secretary signatures, and samples of originals, and that those are another one of those helpful hints.
His cousin took up 5 shuttles. His cousin. Which one I don't know, but I know he just signed him the just before he passed away, he sent him a signed photo. He goes, "Why do you want my signature?" He goes, "I'm a collector." That's
yeah,
why.
and he's your cousin, so that made it that much more.
He's 76 or something like that. He still does stuff for them.
Oh, over at NASA. It's an amazing, it's
wherever
amazing
they
thing.
go now. So.
I know that some of the politicians, we sold some of the political pieces. Did you have anyone?
He was into that.
Yeah, he really was. Did you have any special piece, something that you remember that was, attached to a story you were part of, or are there just...
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix, yeah, that was pretty special because you had it for years and it went through.
And he was young.
Yeah.
And so I had to drive him.
Yeah.
I was a driver.
Yeah. Did you go to many other ones with him? I know he was your fishing buddy.
We went to, yeah. We fished a lot, hunted a lot, and at times he'd say, "Okay, we're going hunting, but I got to stop somewhere." "Okay, where we got to stop?" "Just drive, I'll tell you." Then you'd pull in somewhere and there'd be somebody that he knew was going to be at a fair or something like that, and we'd pay to get in, get a signature, and away we'd go. We wouldn't stay riding the ride.
So he did a lot of research, had a lot of information with him, and that sort of thing. Well, those are really cool.
Strawberry Festival, we went there quite a few times.
Because that's where, right there, not far from you, because you were from the St. Pete, Tampa area? Tampa area. And you grew up there, so you're a Floridian.
Floridian.
That's a good thing. I'm thinking about some of the other ones. Now, this gentleman right here, everybody knows him, Yogi Berra. He was, I know that he's got lots of different sayings he likes to use. And I know we've got some more pictures because we're going to look at them real quick before we run out of time. Signed basketball, a lot of the photos. Sometimes he would match up his photos with the basketball, the other things. And then the last one we've got that's the Master's jacket.
And we had a lot of jerseys.
A lot of jerseys.
Football, baseball.
Now this was really special. This one sold for $1,425, had some great signatures on it. And the fellow who actually bought it runs the largest golf auction. He does it online, and he came up from down south just to be there so he could buy this piece special. And I know over here we've got this other one here. This is the Neville Brothers. It's a record that he actually signed, had the Neville Brothers sign all through them. Well, we're running out of time, but it was sure great having you on. It was great having you with us.
It was great having y'all do all this.
Yeah, well, anytime, you just give us a holler. Now, next, we'll be having the gentleman who did a lot of the buying of some of the items. He'll come tell us a little bit about how to buy a signature, what to look for, and we'll be looking at all sorts of other collectibles, all sorts of other experts, so you need to watch us every Monday at 8 o'clock, Wednesday at noon, WYKE. This is Auction Adventures, and we look forward to having you with us again. Chris Dudley, Dudley's Auctions, saying goodbye. We'll look forward to chatting with you next time. Auction Adventures and all adventures, especially in new territories, are scary. And since we did astronauts, that was by Sally Ride. So that kind of is a little appropriate. So every week we'll have a new adventure quote. We'll share with you new adventures, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thanks so much. See ya. Bye.